Here in Sala Guarneri at Accademia Musicale Napoletana. Thank you, Massimo Fargnoli, for hosting this event. And Alvaro Siviero is our guest today. We are together. I would like to introduce you because we are great friends, and I'm so happy you are coming here after some years. You've been here maybe some years ago. And Alvaro came just for these 3 days from Brazil, from São Paulo, Brazil, where he is very active as a concert pianist. First of all, he's playing with all major Brazilian and South American orchestras, and not only, also in Europe. But he's also very active in the musical dissemination. We said wonderful things this morning with you about what is music dissemination, what is it, what it means. And I think what we are doing now is just to give a practical example of what you think should be music dissemination. So Alvaro, you are going to talk about one great masterwork by Franz Liszt, the Dante Sonata, but you are also going to play it and explain. And so this I think you would like to do, and would like every musician do in a way, in a different way maybe, to connect with the audience.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, there is no difference between the audience and stage. It's the same. So what is a musician without the audience? And what is the audience without, the musician, the orchestra? There's nothing. Both parts are important. Both parts are necessary. And that's what I try to do in Brazil. Let me tell you what happens in Brazil. I think because of COVID, that's my opinion, people stay at home in Brazil, like reading, not complaining, but reading, thinking, watching. And lots of people, colleagues of mine, we tried in this very same moment to change the reality of the culture in Brazil. Because Brazil is not samba. Brazil is not caipirinha. Because people think like this. I don't know if it's because of the media, I don't know if it is because of whatever, but it's not Brazil. But what happens in Brazil? In Brazil, we don't have the tradition that we have in Europe, in Italy. Here, like the opera. So when we think of opera, we think of Italy. We think of great composers. We think of Europe. We don't think of Brazil. This is good. I don't know. There are advantages. There are lots of advantages, because for Italian people, the opera is a normal reality. But for us Brazilians, it is not. But there are disadvantages. Because, for example, in Brazil, there's this saying, we say that we crash the car when we think that we drive well. It's always like this. And if people think, so no, we have the culture. No, my country is a very cultural country. I was born in a very musical family. Because of this, sometimes we see people just running after, away of the real culture. But in Brazil, as we don't have it, you must have it. So let's search. For example, popular music. Popular music is not the opposite of classical music. It is not. What is popular music? It's music of the people. So here in Italy, people listen to opera. I heard that. But in Brazil, it doesn't happen like this. But why not? Because of the level of education. Because of the cultural level. You were in Salzburg, I remember I was in Salzburg and people playing Mozart. It's Mozart, this is pop music, Mozart. But in Brazil I'd rather not say anything. So, but this is changing. And because of this, with some friends, we made this YouTube channel with lots of documentaries. One is specific about music, 10 million viewers. As a classical musician, I'm a classical concert pianist. That's my job, my real job. But I have dozens of thousands of followers on Instagram. And now, in the bubble of classical music, people know me. But now people in the supermarket, they're like, no, Alvaro, can I take a picture with you like this? Okay, because of YouTube. You see, we can make, 85 people bought a piano. Because of lots of things, yes, through digital, circumstances, yes, but also because in concerts, I try to do what I'm doing right now, what I'm going to try to do right now. with your help. This is not a concert, this is not a recital, this is a family reunion. We are going to share ideas. Okay, that's what I think it is the best. I'm going to use the Dante Sonata. So, if I get here and I do like this, I'm going to play the Dante Sonata. Like this, and then I sit down, and then I start. After 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so, well, what is it? What is all this for? So if you don't have the background, if you don't have it, it's really difficult to understand. And that's what I'm going to try to do. So, the Divina Commedia, del mezzo del cammino della nostra vita, vi ricomprovai per la nostra vita. Okay, everybody knows that, right? Yes, everybody does. So this was written in century 14, beginning of 14. All right, but Liszt, this Hungarian composer, wrote a composition based on this, the Dante Symphony and then the Dante Sonata, much later, century 19th, when he was 30, 38, 39, 38. So he was like there. Liszt is known by this pyrotechnical, lots of circles and, difficulties, technical, whatever, jumps, and with 38, he was able to do something like, a little bit difficult. Roberto knows that, recorded this piece. It's a simple piece, it is, but it's not at the same time, okay? It was published much later, like almost 10 years later, 7 years, 10 years later. It talks about what? About the Divina Commedia. Comedy does not mean that you're going to laugh. Comedy is the opposite of tragedy. Tragedia e la commedia. Divina Commedia, this divina, divine, the name came much later because of the content, which is the hell, the purgatory, and heaven. Que inferno, purgatorio, paradiso. If I do like this, the very beginning of the song. Anxiety, when you think of inferno, hell, we think of fire, we think of suffering. Do you feel that? I feel more like an anxiety of something that is going to happen, a kind of announcement. And that's what happens at the very beginning of the book. When the Caronte, the character, brings the souls through the river, Aqueronte, that's the name of the river, and the souls are going to be selected. You go to hell, you go to purgatory, you go to heaven, you go to, like this. So this is the voice of the conscience. Like several times, like when it happens to you, you're talking about this. Don't do it. We hear clearly, like don't do it. Don't choose it. That this is not correct. We feel that this is our voice, inner voice, talking to ourselves. Don't look at this woman in this way. Respect your wife, like this. Get this piece of paper, just help somebody. We hear, this is the inner voice. And it's because of our freedom, you can choose this way or that way. And after we choose, whatever we choose, comes our destination. It's like we were talking about the movie, right? When you're watching a movie and then you press the pause and you're like, you stop like this. This is the death. And it's going to happen to all of us. That's the only thing that we know for sure that is going to happen. Are you going to be rich? Don't know. Are we going to be wise? Don't know. Famous? Don't know. Are you going to die? Yes. But all of us, yes. And depending on the judgment that we receive, we can, that's what the book says, we can go to, so this is the announcement. Be careful, choose correctly. And this rhythm, this figure is going to, like, be repeated, like, all over the place. Just announcement, like, the day will come. This day will come. Today, I don't know. Tomorrow, I don't know. Next year, in 10 years' time, we don't know. But it will happen. We always think of that person thinking of others, but we never think of our own death. But this is going to happen. That's the finality of this book. And then comes the very beginning, and everybody reads the hell, the inferno parte dell'inferno, perché è molto interessante. e Dante, he put everybody there, right? Lots of people there. And in this travel through hell, he has the help of Virgilio, which is this Latin poet, right? And Beatrice, part of it. So the hell and purgatory is with Virgilio. And there is this other state, which is not heaven, but which is this state of pure and natural happiness, which is Beatrice, the muse, who inspired him to write the book. So in this trilogy, the wolf, the lion, and the tiger, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, reason, human, and faith, it's all the time in the book, this kind of trilogy. But then comes hell, and the hell is written in D minor. And here is the very beginning where we really feel despair. I don't know if you feel that, but that's what is supposed to happen. Look this. I feel like just the ceiling, that's my impression I have. The ceiling is like here, and I cannot stand up, like, and everything's kind of dark and anxiety, and we don't know exactly where we are going to, but that's what this music brings to me, and despair. Yeah, no. This is the idea in D minor. Right after this, right after the hell, just 5-10 more minutes and then we are done. Okay? Right after hell comes another announcement. Be careful. One day it will be you. There is this poem from this Spanish writer I like a lot. And he makes a question. Have you ever seen, in a very sad and cold day of during fall, the leaves of the trees falling down? Have you ever seen that? And then after making this question, he says, in the same way, every day the souls reach eternity. One day, the falling leaf will be you. This is right after hell. And then comes this purgatory, where we feel peace, because he changes the G minor for F sharp major. I don't know, I feel hope. Here, sadness, despair. But here, that I'm going to play for you. The passage where he shows the love, the wrong love. Francesca da Rimini, Francesca e Paolo. Because, like, you know, if I'm not mistaken, Paolo was the brother-in-law of Francesca's brother-in-law. But they're having a kind of affair. So because of this, Dante placed both of them in a kind of wind, and they were never met. For example, for fat people, you know, fat people, they always try to eat, trying to hide from other people, isn't it? Just Diet Coke, but you know, during the night, they open the refrigerator, and then, like, you know, in a hidden way, they keep on eating, right? And then there's Sebero, which is this dog with 3 heads, to observe, like, are you eating or not the gluttony, right? So it's really, really nice to read it. And there is this love part in between the Francesca da Rimini and Paolo that one can feel, like, you know, this romantic approach. But right after, Liszt, as a kind of strike, says, this is not real love. This might be attraction, this might be anything, but it's not real love, like this. I'm going to show you this real love part, and then the contrast that is prepared, saying, look, wake up. Just free your imagination, all right? after this very lyrical and romantical part, comes the real despair. I remember a book that I was reading when one friend tells to the other, I'm married, this guy says, and I need to get divorced because the love is done. It's over. There is nothing anymore. There is no more love. And the other said, well, so if there is no more love. But how come? You don't understand me. I'm telling you that the love disappeared. And I have 2 kids. What do? There is no love. So, that's the time for real love. I think of a mother, 3 o'clock in the morning, going there to the baby and cleaning and this is real love. Attraction is not the real love. Passion is like this, right? Passion is not a real love. And what this music talks to us and tells us that is, be aware. Be aware. And now it goes to the end. Then I'm going to perform, and then you question me, I question you, and it was a pleasure meeting you and being with you, right? So at the very end comes heaven. Heaven. Dante made this trip with San Bernardo. Como se dice? San Bernardo. San Bernardo. And then we see the choir of angels like this. Liszt decided to make a kind of summary, a sum up of all the things he presented, going to the end of the sonata. And then you hear the drums at the very end. Like, this is the final time, where all the souls will be separated. So, and make up your mind, make your decision, and then choose where you want to go. Like this, with the drums. And then I'm going to try to show you this sum up part, which takes 2 minutes, and then the drums at the very end, where he closes the whole story. So he's talking about the choir of angels. that's how the work finishes. So for me, and with this last consideration, I really finished. For me, it says why classical music receives the name of classical, because it is eternal. Classical music is supposed to be eternal because it talks to the soul of the man, to the soul of humanity, talks to you, talks to me. So Bach, 700 years, 800 years. This sonata, like the 19th century, the boom, 14th century, and it's classical. In my country, there are lots of sabinhas, we call this. It's nice to have a caipirinha or barbecue, of course. If I'm preparing a barbecue, I'm not going to play Brahms symphony. But, there is the sambinha for specific times, but I am aware that this is not real music. It's not eternal. It's just the rhythm. And the rhythm, what does it do? Shakes your body. But the melody and the harmony shakes your soul. And that's what music is supposed to be all about. That's what I think. And that's why this big transformation in my country is going on. But in a very strong way, but really in a very strong way. People are criticizing everything. Are good critics, you know, why? And reading. And I'm happy because of that. And I'm also happy because I'm contributing somehow to develop, like, you know, this awareness that should happen all in my country, but should happen, like, you know, everywhere. Because that's what we are, right? Where are you going to? It's a big question, and then the sonata makes us reflect. Makes me reflect on this. So that's it, like, you know, any question, like, you know, anything that you want to share, that I could learn from you as well, because it's really important for me as well, as an artist, and to be fed by your thoughts. No. I get your side.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
The story you were telling over the music, just to give us some fragments.
Mm-hmm. I didn't play. I almost played entire.
Yeah,
okay. 70%. Yeah.
Except for the really difficult passages that you jump over there.
No, I didn't jump. No. But if you want me to repeat.
Now, the question is, the story you've been telling us over the music is what music inspired you. I mean, you read the Divina Commedia, and then you performed the sonata, and then you matched some passages for the novel with the music, or is based on Liszt, perhaps left something about that, or how
Liszt wrote about it as well, but like, you know, by listening. Look, music is as real as this table. Like, it's real. We think of music of like Mozart is a yellowish picture in a very old-fashioned book. Beethoven, this is the no. It's a person who loved, who suffered, and the music is a message. For example, if I do like this for you, it says something, and I want you to tell me what does it say. Agony. Yes or no? Anxiety. Do you think it is anxiety? What does it say? It says something. Just tell me. You tell me. There is no right and wrong. Anybody? Longing. Who else?
Love, definitely.
Love. The name is sospiro. That's the name of the music. Do you feel that? But if we start, like, Chopin, second sonata. Un sospiro? No. So it's sad. But the more used we get to listening, the more, natural it is. Yes.
Liszt and others gave us titles with meaning. It's program music. It gives us an association. But I think with even the very youngest children, their first sonatina, for example, what's the story? Is the C major section a princess? Is the contrasting key a development section? Is that some kind of conflict? Is somebody coming to rescue you? I mean, with very young children, I find that many of the pieces have titles that conjure up images, and you can ask them to write the story. But we need to transfer that to the sonata, the sonatina, the titles that are abstract. And it's quite interesting. I do this with my students. Two different students might have a different story, but the affect, the emotion, is usually the same. And so what you've done here with this Liszt sonata, of course, is a wonderful way for an experienced pianist to get the most out of the music. But even with our youngest students, we can encourage them to think this way all of the time. What is the humanity? What is the story that we're telling? So it was great to listen to your interpretation, obviously influenced by Liszt, but I think it's something that everybody can do.
Everybody can do it, and children even more, because the imagination of the children is crazy. I see my nephew with this, tablecloth, he thinks he's a Superman. Just let's fly like this, and the imagination of the children is amazing. They can make up their own story. There is no right and there is no wrong, but there's real music. So I said so many bad things about the rhythm, but the rhythm is important, right? It shakes the body. But when the rhythm goes together with the harmony and the melody, wow, they are beautiful, marvelous compositions, toccatas, yeah. They spoke too much. I don't know.
It was lovely. It would be nice to hear the whole work.
Yeah.
So do you want me to play that? I think it's too long.
Someone here is coming after you,
I really don't. Is there anybody?
We have time.
It would be great if you
We have time.
We have time.
So what is the time now?
It's 5:10.
So we have 10 of them.
So I'll play the entire sonata.
I can ask a last question,
Of
which
course.
is interpretative. Of course, this was written because of Hugo, not because of Dante, because he read the famous Victor Hugo, après une lecture de Dante, and he composed it. How do you balance the reflection part, the reminiscence part, with the descriptive part and the rhetoric? When you perform, do you have it, because of course you have this wonderful feeling, the big sound, the big ideas, and the velocity you have as a personality which reflects on your performance. But how do you balance these elements? I mean, the descriptive element, the rhetorical element, and the reflection, because this is also, it's après une lecture, so it's not just describing the episodes from Divina Commedia.
Perfect. Parlare non è comunicare. Questo è molto importante. Lots of people, they speak, but they don't say anything. All right? So, for me to communicate, I have to have my own truth. So when I get on stage, I know, I must know what I have to say, what I want to say. For example, this Francesca da Rimini Paolo part, I think of a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, because this is the real life. I think of a friend who is suffering because, took a wrong decision. So many things are going on at the same time. That's why, I have to make up a story. I was with this Argentinian pianist Marta Aguirre, her project in Lugano, and then she told me, Alvaro, You have to make up a story. Go there and tell this story. You will win. Like this. But you have to tell a story. So for each composition, even if the composition doesn't have a name, I have this story. And I try to tell this story. I'll try to tell the story I have with the Dante Sonata. I perform that, and then we go.
Great.
All right? But this is just a seed. Now each one of us, including me, have to make it grow, because music is like this. This is an instrument. Like I am also an instrument, and I can be a barrier in between music and you. And this is an instrument, can be a barrier, like an obstacle in between me and you. So, but we try to be this envelope, carrying this message, and what is important is the message. And I hope you get the message now, right, with this Dante Sonata. I play that, and then you go. Just because yesterday was your birthday.
We do not want to go.
Because of your birthday, this is a special gift.
Thank you very much.
No, yeah. you.